nothing but rounds of applause. Jesus is king, but flowers is still the God. Is it worth it when you're still being reminded that you worthless? All the jewels that you dropped in the machine isn't working. The only piece I got is the piece I own. So God, I'm better than the I show. I gotta grow. I'm crazy here, and I don't think nobody can save me here. Yeah, I'm losing my faith in here. I'm looking for a little salvation, but I'm lost in space.
What's good? This your boy James. You are now tuned in to the Views from the Floor podcast, sponsored by Drinky Drink. The drink, it just feels good. Let's go.
Sipping on Drinky Drink. I'm just sipping on Drinky Drink. I'm just sipping on Drinky Drink.
Gang, gang. So,
We're tired.
as we all know, yesterday on 420, the ending of the George Floyd trial came about. Took him 10 hours to find him guilty on all three charges.
10 hours.
10 hours. That, the crazy thing about it was, and for those of you that don't know, who's been living under a rock for the last year, George Floyd is a man that was living in Minnesota at the time. Apparently used a fake $20 bill to purchase whatever at the convenience store. Cops was called. Cops came. Tussle happened. And it's more than a tussle. Matter of fact, fuck this shit. I'm going to go into detail. They put him in handcuffs, put him in the cop car. Mm-hmm. You see inside the cop car, there's some tussling going on. Next thing you know, he's pulled out the other side of the cop car. Mm-hmm. And Derek Chauvin chose to put his full force of his knee onto George Floyd's neck for, 9 minutes and 46 seconds?
8:46.
8:46. And which 3 minutes of it, he died already. Mm-hmm. And he still continued to keep his knee on his neck. After EMTs trying to stop him, people kept screaming at him, all that stuff. And he just continued to do it. He was charged with 3 counts of murder. Well, it was 2 counts of murder. It was second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and then, second-degree manslaughter or third-degree manslaughter?
I think it was third.
Yeah. Degree. So, basically, he gonna be in there for the rest of his life.
Not necessarily.
Well, it's up to 40 years for
one charge
for the second degree murder. Then it's 20 years. Yep. Was it 20 years for third degree?
Yes, it adds up to 75 years.
But how are they to run though?
Concurrent. Oh, okay. There it is. That's the thing that people did not catch. Yeah. Those charges are concurrent. Now, when you hear the word consecutive, that means that back to back. Concurrent means they overlap.
Yep.
Which means if they're gonna go for the highest charge, which is the 40 years, but even if they go for the other 2, it's all gonna be combined into that 40 years. So,
but he's still probably gonna have to do 25.
Yeah, even yeah, you got to do 2/3 of it.
But it's crazy as hell, though. You know what I mean? With second degree murder was unintentional.
Yeah.
When clearly
that was intention. And then it's so much that came up about him afterwards. It's like the other cases he attached to.
Yeah.
His beliefs and all these other things. It's kind of like, and then my biggest thing was inside the car, right? He still had handcuffs on. What so much happened?
Yeah, right.
There's nothing that I don't care if a person spits on you.
Yeah.
Like, dog, like that's come on.
I think for me it was like the moment you took him out of that car, that was when murder starts. That's when the murder started.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think, right? Because like we said, he was handcuffed.
Yeah.
How's he resisting arrest when he's already arrested?
And there's 4 of y'all out there.
Right.
And then there was a portion of time Well, you in the front, he in the back.
Yeah.
What so much was he doing to you?
Yeah, right.
His presence bothered you that much?
Talking shit, maybe. Talking shit does not constitute being murdered.
That's the thing. Like if you can't if you can't take that,
Shouldn't be a cop.
you shouldn't be, because you're supposed to be level headed in these situations.
I mean, and then you got to understand, a lot of these people, a lot of us come from inner city neighborhoods where we are taught not to trust the police because of how they act to us. I remember being 12 years old, walking, well, not even 12 yet, 11, walking to my middle school. Shout out to MS 144. And my cousin E was in front of me, and I guess they pegged them as troublemakers. They were. But they weren't doing shit at that time. But they paid them as troublemakers, and they threw them against the paddy wagon because I was right behind them. They threw me against it. So that kind of teaches you, like, fuck them. So when you see them, you're going to have a negative connotation. It's your job. If you are doing a good job, if you are being a part of your community, you will automatically change that mindset. If you are being a part of your community, you are there to protect and serve. You ain't there to say, oh, they don't like me, so fuck them. That's not a part of your job. You're supposed to be indifferent.
It's true. But you know, some of the I think some of the mindsets that we have within our communities, that mindset is what they have as well. Like, you know how you said you can't trust you can give a certain amount of trust because trust can get you killed. I think it's that same mindset with the police force. Like, we can't really we don't want to, I know it. That's just from my vantage point.
No. I'm just gonna debunk it, but you.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, but I mean, I'm all about learning. But you know, it seems that, like, you know, they're like, well, you know, we can be involved. We can be involved to an extent, but at the end of the day, I don't want to get too, you know, involved with you because it might dull my senses too much.
Yeah, I can see that point, but the thing is, even if you decide you don't want to be a part of the community, you still have to have an indifferent.
You have to, because you're serving.
The thing is, the police officers who are, like, sometimes, like, Officer Tommy Norman, you see him?
Yeah.
Sometimes he has to arrest the people that he's watched grow up. Shit, in many ways, he's helped raise.
Yeah.
He has to arrest them. But they still respect and love that man because of what he does every single day for them. So it's like, there are going to be situations that you don't like. But if you can be 100% yourself, like, not yourself, but 100% a good person.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, everybody's not going to be receptive to me. And being a cop don't mean that I'm going to be nice all the time. I got to do what I got to do because at the end of the day, I got to make it home too.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem we see in this country is that it's a different treatment if you have the complexion for correction instead of complexion for connection. If your skin is darker,
I like that.
then they don't think about tasing you.
Yeah.
They don't think, like, even if I'm guilty, I should not die.
Facts.
And that's the number one thing. It's like we all have grown up where we already know, like, our white friends can get away with shit we can't.
Facts.
Like, they can definitely. I've been around, and they be, you stupid motherfucker. Nothing happens. I drive 5 miles over the speed limit and I get pulled over. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not the same. And it's like, okay, what do you want to do to change that going forward?
All right.
In this trial, I think it's a step in the right direction, but I also think it's going to make some cops either say, all right, I'm just not going to be a cop anymore, or it's going to make some be like, well, fuck it. We're going to take these niggas out while we can. Because that's how some of them think. Not all of them. Absolutely not. But some of them right now is gung-ho, ready for whatever. Because this last year, they've been losing their fucking minds.
Yeah. It's been a rough year altogether. Like, for everybody, it's been a rough year. But for this, though, I think because I think because everybody was stuck to be in the house,
Yep.
you had no choice but to see it.
Yes.
You have no choice but to have an opinion about it. And what's even more crazy is, after all the evidence that was laid out in this 3-week trial or 13-day trial, there's still people out there that think, well, the cop didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't mean to do it. Or I don't see how they found him guilty.
Well, we also don't know if that man even knew if that counterfeit money was fake. Like, it happens all the time. We don't even know if that man might have died over something he didn't even know was fake.
And they even say this, like, there's like, oh, he didn't mean to do it. Even if he didn't mean to do it, it happened. Still got to be held accountable for it.
I mean, he's dead because, like, the prosecutor said something, like, they tried to say that George Floyd died because his heart was too big, but he died because Derek Chauvin's heart was too small.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it was. He didn't have compassion enough for another human being.
Which, that was probably one of the most powerful sayings ever. There was people crying about this. Lane called me. I pulled in the driveway. I was watching it on my phone driving home with knots in my stomach. And he calls me right after. He was like fucking juiced, like pumped up. Like we was like yo, like it actually fucking happened. Cause we all know how these things
work. Even with this case, it was like they was finding ways to try to get him off. That's how it felt. And it was like, it became so, like, what killed them was when they brought their own experts in, and it just kept coming down to the same thing. Because when they was like, there wasn't enough fentanyl in his system to kill him, I was like, it's over.
Yep.
Because they kept trying to say, oh, nah. Because most likely he didn't even take them drugs that day. Or it probably wasn't even the fentanyl that he was using. He might have been, like, what's been happening. Like what happened to Bobby Brown's son.
Yeah.
It was cocaine, but
they
it was cut it with
it.
fentanyl.
Yeah.
Again, you don't know that. And if you're an addict, that don't make you a bad person.
Facts.
And the thing is, they tried to make him look like he was a horrible person when he was just trying to get his life back together.
And then, they bring up all the other past stuff. Okay, he did his time. You get a second chance. That's what America's about.
And that man was a father.
Yeah.
And I think they weren't expecting one of his best friends growing up to be somebody who has a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Steven Jackson.
Yeah, they didn't expect that to resonate with the whole country. And then when that happened, there was nothing that they could do.
Yeah.
Nothing at all they can do, but accept what was about to happen. One of theirs was going down. And that's what happened. It's a step. It's one small step in the right direction of
Accountability.
All right.
There you go. That's the most
That's what it's
perfect
about.
word. It's about accountability.
And that's all we want.
That's all we want, right? Anybody that looks like us three at this table right now, that's all we want is accountability. If you can show accountability, you won't see what happens. You won't see the aftermath of, oh, they just keep killing us and getting away with it, keep killing us and getting away with it. So repercussions happen. Every action has the opposite and equal reaction.
Because from what they saying, it always makes me think, so if that was to happen to me and I'm scared for my life because this cop is overzealous and I killed this cop, what's going to happen to me?
Right.
Like, I just wanted to protect myself, and he was going over what he was supposed to do because whatever reason, he was scared. I wanted to make it home, just like he wanted to make it home. Y'all justified him going home, justified me going home.
Right. But they don't want to do that because of, he's the law, so to speak. Even though
He's not.
he's not.
He's supposed to uphold it.
He's supposed to uphold the law, but
Even the law's imperfect.
right. But you know how it is. They protect their own. So we got to do a better job of helping each other protect our own.
And that's the issue is we're gonna on High Def, we're gonna have two cops come on. We're gonna have a white cop and a black cop. We're gonna sit down and talk to them. We'll bring a lot of stuff up. And they're receptive. We've already kind of told them what we want to avenue through, so they're very receptive of it. And they say, yeah, we're cool, we can do that. But the thing is, like you said, is we gotta protect our own. But the thing is, you put on that badge to protect the public, and when you say we're gonna protect our own, you're not holding yours accountable.
That's the number one thing, because that whole George Floyd thing, like they should have.
So my thing is,
you should have tackled that nigga.
One of those other cops that was standing there should have been like, "This is not right." Push Derek Chauvin off of him and be like, "Look, we're gonna get this man medical attention." Well, it shouldn't even went on that long for one.
Bro, the moment he tried to pull him out of the car, they should have been like, "Hey, chill."
No. He's handcuffed. He's handcuffed. Ain't nothing he can do. If he can spit, he spit on you. He spit on you. You wipe it off. All right, cool. Like, get out your feelings. Get out your feelings here. Like, get out your feelings.
Excessive force started inside.
It started
the store.
It did.
It was like even the guy who called.
Yeah,
he said
like,
he regrets that.
Yeah.
He said he will regret that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that serious.
It was just a fake 20. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a misdemeanor.
He didn't want to pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, it was gonna come out of his pay. So that's why he's like, yo, I gotta do what I gotta do. But shit went way the fuck left.
Yeah.
He's no longer here. But the opposite side of it is some type of justice was served. And the accountability was held. And now he's going to be in prison for a long time. And I hope they keep him in Gen Pop.
He's a solitary confinement right now.
They won't.
Probably he's probably in there until, you know, what's it going to be, like 6 months or something until they sentence him.
Yeah.
Which I never understood why it takes so long to sentence somebody.
Like, our money is paying for all this. Like, dog, y'all got the proof. Go ahead and tell the man. Go ahead and
just
go send him on prison. Dang it.
Yeah, but
I don't get that, yo.
yeah.
If you found him, now I understand if they're like, okay, charge number 2, we found him not guilty of. Then okay, let's sentence in later on. But guilty of all 3 counts. Let's go ahead and put this man up. Like you said, he might only serve 20 years. But I think people didn't pay attention to that. We were so like, yeah, we got him. Yeah.
That it was just like, oh,
but that's kind of a gut punch too when you go back and look at concurrent. What's concurrent mean? You're like, oh, word. So basically, if you give him the 40, he ain't serving the other ones.
Like, you gotta look at like Meech. He got his sentence concurrent too. That's why he probably gonna be home not too long from now.
Yeah,
because he got a shit ton of years, but it was concurrent. So it's like when you look at that, right? You look at drug dealers get longer than people who kill people.
Yes,
in broad daylight with cameras at them. Now they can motherfuckers too, but that's kind of different. But
we still waiting on people in California is still locked up to get out because they legalized marijuana. Still waiting on that. Kamala, what you doing? Just saying.
Well, it's kind of out of her hands.
I know it's out of her hands. I know it's out of her hands.
Kind of saying.
But you the vice president. Come on now. You got somebody with influence.
You got to do your job while you got the job.
Miss Madam.
When your job changed.
State prosecutor. Come on now.
Hey, niggas. That was the law when I was there.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Kyrie, don't try to shoot me, cause I said nigga. I shoot back, nigga.
So, Mr. J, you got a black as fuck today?
Yes, I
You do?
actually.
Good shit.
Y'all gonna have to give me a minute because I started writing and I gotta find these damn notes because I don't know how to work this phone.
But your notes are like a notepad. Just
Dude, you can shift it around to where it's like easy
you really
to
can.
where like look at this shit.
Okay,
look at
I
this
got
shit.
it. No,
I
I
can
got it.
swipe this. Oh, wait. Oh hell.
Well, and the good thing about that is you get this right here too. So now you can just kind of like everything is right there.
And then I can swipe here. I even got it here. I swipe down, hit this motherfucking button, and I'm good to go.
We teach you the ways of that.
On this episode of Black as Fuck, we're gonna talk about age is more than a number.
Ooh.
So This topic is about the predatory role some adults play in the black community and how we combat this issue going forward.
Okay,
let's do it.
So the whole reason this started, right, for me, is a couple weeks ago the versus battle between Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley Brothers, right? So in the Isley Brothers, which was a phenomenal versus, by the way, but the Isley Brothers, they performed. And when they was performing Contagious, when R. Kelly's part came on, they should stop. Fuck it, we ain't even playing his own. And with the DMX stuff, talking about Aaliyah, and it made me that song played, and it made me think about it. Like a lot of times, in the community, we don't talk about like black. We always talk about the male and the female predatory roles, like as that one was. And it made me think, like, there's always that creepy uncle somewhere always looking at the little girls, and they always say, go put on some clothes because Uncle Charlie's around or whatever. You need to be checking Uncle Charlie.
Facts.
And then it's always the one that we don't talk about is the older females being predatory on the younger males. And they be like, oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? They be trying to big them up like, oh, that's what's up. No, it's not. That's still rape.
It's facts.
And it changes how they think about women going forward and how they think about almost anything, like as it pertains to relationships. And we see that effect, especially now, the lack of respect between black men and black women. And a lot of that comes from like predatory actions. Might necessarily not be on age, but just predatory actions. But age is the biggest one. And it made me think, we look back into the history of like your grandparents and things. Grandpa was 24, grandma 16.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just like stop. Like when you think about it, you be like, all right, so how did that have the effect on our family going forward? Grandpa always had to have control. If he didn't, it wasn't nothing for him to slap the shit out of grandma.
Right.
Because that was okay back then. And he was the older person. He was seen as wiser. Her voice was dimmed. Like, all of that happens. When you in... It's not to say that older... Relationships with older people and younger people can't work out. But it has to be when you are an adult. You've already formed your opinions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, because in our community, there's a lot that has been broken because of many different things. And we don't need to continue this like, oh, it's get you an older man because he going to take care of you mentality. Or get you an older woman because she going to take care of you mentality. Like, that's stupid. Like, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And a lot of times, when these things happen, you always be like, where's the parents? And that's one thought, but it's also like, it ain't even just the parents. Why auntie ain't saying nothing? Mm-hmm. Why uncle ain't saying nothing? Why you ain't saying nothing? It's like, oh, that's not my business. Nah, it's all our business.
Yeah.
Facts.
This shit
Every
affects
one of us.
all of us.
Absolutely.
Like, that we gotta lose that mindset going forward because with all this stuff going on, we are a community. We have to understand, like, you see flaw shit going on, you step in, you say something.
Check somebody.
Because, now be prepared. The niggas might not want to hear what you got to say. Well, however that breaks out, you might have to break a nigga jaws on. But at the end of the day, it's like, for me, confrontation is worth maybe saving this girl's life or saving this boy's life. Because, like, I've been mentoring kids since I've been 18. And the main thing I see when it's like predatory relationships is control. And we gotta understand, like, in this world, there's gonna be a lot of things that we can't control. But being in a relationship where the other person has like ownership over you, or not even a relationship, but being in an unhealthy relationship period can ruin you for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? That one relationship can ruin you for the rest of your life if you don't know how to deal with it properly.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times we always used to say, what goes on in this house stays in this house. But what goes on in this house has the ability to ruin you in 3 generations down the line. It's like we are now in a place where we can get therapy. We can talk about the things that hurt us. And part of that is understanding that we always talk about black love, but black love sure as hell looks like it hurts. We got to get to a point where it doesn't. Or if it does hurt, why does it hurt? And let's face it.
Right.
Why does it look like Grandpa is a creepy, rapey nigga? Maybe because partially he was. Yeah. But Grandpa probably didn't know he was a rapey nigga because it was a status quo.
Yeah.
But going forward, we can't have that mindset because I'm going to be real. If I'm raising my daughters and she has a friend who's going through that situation, I would feel obligated to step up and say something or do something about it. Because you ain't going to bring your rapey nigga ways around my baby. Because I shoot guns. And I fight.
You're not letting your child stay over at that house either.
No, I mean, but I'm nipping all that shit in the bud. Like, we always they always talk about the strong black male, right? Mm-hmm. And shit. Like, that's a part of being one. And the strong black woman is like being able to say, you know what? This shit ain't right. Because these kids go through a lot. And we got to make sure that these rapey motherfuckers, whether you was in the rapey nigga Hall of Fame or you in the rapey woman Hall of Fame, y'all both need to be eradicated.
It's definitely a rapey woman Hall of Fame.
But they going to rapey nigga Hall of Fame too.
Because never mind. Yeah.
Antoine Fishering.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's a lot of that that goes on. And they just pass it off as, that's what's up, young blood.
No.
Nah.
Damaging this young man.
That shit is wild. Absolutely wild. You know, I say this every time he do this. But god damn it, Justin.
Yeah. Well,
I think also that mindset, a lot of the guys that like I'm gonna dap them up because of that is they never got to they weren't in that situation. But they always look at it like, oh, you know, any time you can get something is a good time.
Yeah.
To get
but
something.
That's not the case at all.
That's not the case at all.
Let me tell you, I had sex for the first time at 14, and I wasn't ready. She was 15, and we both did not know what the fuck we was doing. We had no business having anybody type of goddamn sex, okay? And we was around the same age. So what the hell you think? Yeah. She know what she doing. Like, that's manipulative.
Yeah. Yeah, nah. I have a story about the first time, but I won't say it on air. I won't say it on air. It's wild as hell. But it goes along with this story. Like, it goes along with the conversation that we was having. But it's just something that I don't want to say on air. You know what I mean?
I know the story.
But yeah, we're going to take another break. Appreciate you, my brother Justin, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Hey everybody, this is High Definition Podcast. I'm Maurice.
I'm Therese.
Listen, you can find us on Facebook at
High Definition Podcast.
You can also find us on IG at
High_Definition_Podcast.
Listen, new episodes drop every Tuesday at 8 p.m. with the video premiere on Facebook. It's coming soon to YouTube, and it also drops on various podcast platforms. So y'all come check us out. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you go. And y'all remember to live life
from the highest definition.
Yeah, man. So, Brother Taz, you got any words of wisdom?
I don't, sadly, this week.
No words of wisdom this week?
No words of wisdom, but I will say, you know, rest in peace, George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see justice for you, my brother. Rest well. I pray that your family, I pray his family can sleep a little better tonight, or from now on can sleep a little better at night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, just better days. I pray are ahead.
Yeah, man.
In all situations.
Listen, I just want to say before we end this, the verdict that we heard on 420 was a small step in a long road ahead of accountability. And the more that we set out and fight for accountability, the more we can hope, the more we can see change. And that's all we want to do is provoke change. So we all got to do our part. We all got to let our voices heard. We all got platforms. Definitely. Everybody got a platform to do the right thing. So do the right thing and hold people accountable for their actions.
Amen to that.
And with that being said, always remember. It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit.
Always remember, no matter the view, it's always with respect. And that's another episode of Views from the Floor podcast.